I guess there's a whole TV show dedicated to the serial killer John Wayne Gacy. Um, and it's pretty much interviewing. This whole TV show is pretty much, I guess, about his family, his sister. His talking about what they used to do. I mean, how they were raised up as kids, and so forth and so forth. And everybody's sitting here talking crap about John Wayne Gacy, just how big of a monster he is, and no doubt that he was a piece of shit. I agree, but it's hilarious, and I don't want to say it's hilarious in a sense it might be, but it just really makes you sick because nobody's bringing up the fact that John Wayne Gacy had connections to the government. Nobody's bringing up the fact that John Wayne Gacy had connections to the mob, to the Chicago mob, and I'm not too sure about. I read a few sources that talked about John Wayne Gacy bragging about his connections with the mafia of Chicago, talking about how he's actually related with some of the head guys, the head mobsters in Chicago. Nobody's talking about the fact that John Wayne Gacy had many associates, the people that would go over to his house with keys to his house. So he wasn't the only one that during the time when his crime when he had all those bodies hid underneath his house. There was like about I think last I read was like about 15 to 20 people that had keys to his house. And when he got busted, he even said to the police that there was accomplices, that he had help. And then it's also a documented fact, which you'll see nobody bring up in these comments, is that he had connections with a child trafficker, a person that was actually into child trafficking and all that. Well, John Wayne Gacy had a friend, a person he worked with, who had direct ties to a child trafficker. So you don't see anybody bringing that fact up. And then it's also a fact that John Wayne Gacy also had another close associate that he used to work with that was busted. That was busted as a serial killer himself. Like, he was involved in like 5-6 different murders. So and there's people that suspect that he even him and John Wayne Gacy killed together. And none of these people, man, not one of these people are bringing up any of this. Just a bunch of sheep that believe everything they're fucking told by the mainstream, and hardly any of these mainstream documentaries or anything like that ever bring up his connections, that the connections that John Wayne Gacy had, that pretty much show that there was that he himself was probably tied to something a lot bigger than himself, like a child trafficking ring, sex trafficking ring, and all that, and and it's just unbelievable, dude. It's just unbelievable, man. Not one person is bringing up any of the fucking facts. And I even think that John Wayne Gacy's father was a I'm not too sure about this, so don't quote me, but I heard he was a Freemason too. So the guy that fucking that abused John Wayne Gacy as he was a kid growing up throughout his life was a Freemason.